I'm kind of shaky, and something you never want to have to deal with. We've never had a wind come through that strong. Last night we were about to go down in the shelter and it ended. We thought the roof was going to come off. We came out this morning and the pig's house was flipped over. We came out here and one poor mama had her leg stuck between a piece of metal and wood. We've got her out of it. We've got the house upright, but her leg is pretty deeply gashed. At this point, we don't know whether we're going to have to humanely dispatch her or try and patch it up. Right now we're gonna try and get some food and figure out what we can do. This kind of video is really hard for me to make when I have to tell you about something really sad that happened on the farm. We had really bad storms last week, Friday night to Saturday, so probably a week from the time that you're seeing this video. And it's actually taken me quite a few days to be able to sit down and talk about it without crying and stuff. So we'll see if I can make it through. Last Friday night into Saturday, there were horrible storms. The wind was terrible overnight. There was hail, and it was so loud and whipping around the house that it woke us up from a dead sleep, and we were gonna go in the storm shelter, but when we looked it up online, the really bad part of the storm was already past us. It sounded like the roof was gonna come off at one point. It was nuts. And my daughter had just started her job at the nursing home in town, and she had to be there at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. So we get a call from her. We've got creeks, you know about our creeks, and they were high, so she couldn't go out that way, and so she was going out the really long dirt road, and she'd moved a bunch of branches, and then she got to this one, and there was a big tree across the road. And I think actually we got a little video of us, Dad, Chris and I and her went, and he got the chainsaw out and was able to cut through the tree and get it out of the road. And so we got her to work on time. And then we came back home, and about that time it was getting light outside, and I saw that the pig house had flipped over in the storm. So we went to investigate it. And one of the pigs, after the house flipped over, the pigs went back inside. It was laying on the back side with the door side up. And I'm sure they were trying to get shelter, and they went back inside there. And one of them, her leg got stuck between a piece of the metal and one of the 2x4s on the back of the house. And she was in a lot of pain. She'd lost a lot of blood. She was shivering like she was going into shock. And so we worked really hard to free her, and we got her out of it, and she was walking around, but she was weak. She couldn't really stand up much, and she'd lost so much blood, and so the cut was clear to the bone, and so we had to make the decision to dispatch her. And our farm animals are for eating. They're for butchering. They're for work. They're not our pets. But we try really hard to give our animals a good, happy, healthy life until butchering day. They just have one bad day. And to know that she had been in pain like that, it's really hard for me. We did... Chris had the camera when we drove over there to check on him, and so we set it up at a long shot. Just we were more interested in getting the pig out and seeing how she was than, you know, getting video, of course, naturally. So I'm not sure what the video shows. We'll take a look at it and see whether there's any use putting any in here or not. And I almost didn't post this video. I almost didn't make this video because it's hard. It's hard to go through something like that, and it's not the norm that happens on the farm. Normally, you know, you do everything you can to take really good care of your animals, and when you see one that has suffered, it's terrible, it's tragic, it's horrific. I am glad. For one thing, I'm glad that my daughter had trouble getting to work, as odd as that sounds, because it was Saturday. It was Saturday morning, and Chris and I, neither one had commitments that day, and we might have slept in a little later, and who knows how long it would have been before we saw that she was in that situation. So in that sense, what seemed like a really rough start to my daughter's day ended up helping us be able to get to her sooner so that she didn't have to suffer any longer than she did. But I do think it's important to be authentic and be truthful with you. And there are times on the farms when animals die, even when you're doing everything right. And that pig house is really heavy. I don't even know, like I couldn't put an estimate on pounds. And it was just, I'm sure, a freak touchdown of wind, because the duck house, which is much lighter, stayed in place. The chicken coop stayed in place. The beehives stayed in place. So, you know, it's just, it's a really freak thing, and it's sad. And I don't know what else to say about it. We tried to, just to make sure that she didn't suffer longer. So I guess that's it. Not really much else to add. And hopefully next video round I'll have some happier news. So thanks for watching, and see you next time the rooster crows.